Good morning, everybody.
Hi, this is Bryan Paiement calling in.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I'm very excited to talk with you because I've never seen a book like this before in my life. This is a great exploration, and it also kind of teases the imagination to try something new.
Yeah, that was kind of the goal. Basically, so I work in a restaurant, and kind of the idea was, at the end of a meal, people kind of are deciding, what should we do? Should we have dessert or another cocktail? So the goal was to kind of solve that problem.
To find the answers to everything that's going on inside this book, because, I mean, you look at the pictures and your eyes, are drawn to it, but then you get to see the history of how this dessert even came into being and then turn it into a drink.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun researching just the history behind each drink. The one that comes to mind is the Explorer cake from Antarctica. I really, when you think of Antarctica, you don't think culinary traditions.
Right.
But they found a 106-year-old fruit cake that was still preserved and edible. So I made a cocktail inspired by that, and I think it definitely tastes better than an original fruit cake. So, yeah.
That's one thing, especially this time of year. And I mean, as long as we get up to January 1st, I mean, this is a great book for people to get their hands on now, because as New Year's does get here, like you said, like with the fruit cakes and things, I mean, they're out there. We can do it, and you show us the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. Yeah, a lot of fun. I think my favorite cocktail would probably be the Bananas Foster.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so that's the one on the cover. My wife and I took a trip to New Orleans and went to Brennan's, where the Bananas Foster really was created. And so, yeah, love that one. It's a lot of fun, especially around New Year's Eve, because you get to light it. So you light the bananas on fire. So it's a lot of fun.
See, that explains why it starts off the book. I mean, big letters here. I go, why was this one of all of them the first one? And now I understand.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It uses some aged rum, some brown sugar, simple syrup, cream. Yeah, it's a tasty one.
Now, you talk about the pumpkin pie, and it describes it as being from Central America. Are we talking about the breadbasket of America, or are we talking about Central America?
Central America, yeah.
Really? I didn't know it came from that area. It's so all-American.
It is, yeah, but it's. I mean, just the pumpkin in general just has such a deep roots. 5500 BC were some of the earliest foods that the European explorers brought back from the New World. So yeah, I wanted to include pumpkin pie. That was a great one for Thanksgiving too.
What was it like to turn these into a drink? I mean, to be able to sit down because you give us exactly what we need when it comes to ounces and the tools that we need to bring it to life and everything.
Yeah. So the idea was kind of to start with the original dessert and then deconstruct it. Yeah. So, with like the peach cobbler, what makes it, of course, you have the fresh peaches. Yeah. When I think of peach cobbler, I go to bourbon. So it's just kind of deciding, what might work well together. A lot of trial and error, but yeah, I think all the cocktails came out tasting much like the desserts.
So when you discovered the error, I mean, they always say that when there's an error, you've just discovered something new. So I mean, what kind of mistakes really led you to a greater taste?
Right. So if you had, it might be the base spirit. It might be just an ingredient, like for the pumpkin pie, just adding a little bit of the Angostura bitters, just gave it that nice spice that we tend to associate with pumpkin pie, and fresh ginger. So just kind of playing, going back and forth, trying different ingredients, but trying to stay true to the original dessert as much as possible.
Who would have ever thought there was a sugar shortage, and so people turned to carrots? That became the carrot cake.
I know. I love that. Yeah. And then there's also one of my favorite histories is for the dragon fruit cocktail. So with COVID-19, Vietnam, they kind of shut down trade with China. So they had a bakery in Ho Chi Minh City developed a recipe. So they made a bright pink loaf of bread. So they actually took all the dragon fruit that they couldn't export, and they replaced 60% of the water in the dough with the dragon fruit smoothie, and they were producing 20,000 loaves of bread a day. So it's pretty amazing.
Wow. I see those dragon fruit being purchased by a lot of people, and the younger generation really digs that fruit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a showstopper when you see it in the grocery store. It's impressive. So that would be fun to make into a drink. How important is sight when it comes to bringing these drinks forward? Oh, it's huge because, we eat and drink with our eyes first.
Yep.
So I think a nice garnish is super important on every cocktail. Yeah. Yeah.
I never even thought about the maple being up there, maple syrup being so popular up in Canada in the way of they use it as a sugar tool.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. My dad's from Montreal, so we had the opportunity to go when they had their Maple Fest, and it was really neat. You get to see all the maple trees tapped and the lines going from tree to tree. Yeah. So I had to put that in with the Quebec sugar pie. Absolutely.
How long did it take you to create this? Because, I mean, the exploration, A, had to have been absolutely fantastic fun, and B, it's like you had to make sure that you did it right so that we, on this side of the book, will get to, we'll sit there and say, my God!
Yeah. So overall, I did probably off and on over about 2 years to come up with the recipes and perfect them and make sure they were ready to go. But yeah, it's a fun 2-year process though.
Wow. In Greece, am I pronouncing this right? Ravani. It's got the vanilla, lemon zest, and even some rose water.
Yeah, the Ravani. So you can find rose water. Any beverage market will have the rose water, probably in the grocery store as well. Yeah. But yeah, it just adds a nice touch to it.
Wow. So what was a country that really shocked you the most when it came to desserts?
I would probably say Morocco.
Really?
It's pretty neat. So I have one. It's called Cefa.
That's it.
So the original is noodles, couscous, and then it's raisins and icing. So it could be savory, could be sweet. So that was a really fun one to turn into a cocktail. Really enjoyed that. So it's kind of a challenge. That's for that one. I used amaretto, a little bit of tawny port wine, and actually almond milk, lemon juice, and some cinnamon. So trying to bring out those flavors from the original dish.
Well, you said amaretto, man. That right there in itself says hello to me because, I mean, you can mix so many things with amaretto and really come up with a unique blend.
Oh, yeah. Amaretto is super versatile. Yeah, we get a lot of amaretto sours, too, where I work. Very popular.
Are you hoping that restaurants and different nightclubs will pick this up and say, hey, look, I mean, we've got to try this and we've got to grow with it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to. It would be neat to see, a liquid dessert section on the menus. I think it'd be pretty popular with customers. Yeah.
Don't you think though that we have to change as the consumer instead of just reaching for just say, look, take your time and enjoy this like a dessert.
Right. I completely agree. It doesn't have to be overly strong. You're not at the end of a meal. You're not trying to start out the night. So yeah, just savor it. Drink it slowly and just pull out try to taste all the flavors from the original dessert and the cocktail. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to try that pavlova from Australia because I mean, first of all, I love meringue and how you were able to bring this together. I have no clue.
It was fun. So I did the original. Yeah, I made homemade meringue. It just adds a nice garnish and kind of pays homage to the original dessert because it has the meringue shell.
So are you trying these out at your own restaurant? I mean, did you get to work it first?
Oh, yeah. So most I made at home, but yeah, I definitely have worked them at the restaurant and had other bartenders and servers I work with try them out and see what they think. Definitely as many tastes as possible makes a better drink. So as many tasters as you can get.
Wow.
Absolutely.
The lakma from Egypt. This has got some honey in it, does it not?
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's almost like a donut, but yeah, with honey and sugar. So very tasty.
Well, you have to be crazy in order to put a book like this together, man.
It was a lot of fun. I joked with my wife. I'm like, somebody has to, she was a big taster too. So I was like, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, right?
Wow. So now with the creme brulee, do you make it thick enough to where if you wanted to use a teaspoon, you could just, or is it a sipper?
So it is a very thick cocktail because I wanted it to be, a similar texture to the original dessert. So it does use a whole egg in the creme brulee.
Really?
And then I kind of did, with the creme brulee, we think about the topping, where it's like the candy kind of crust. So I did a turbinado sugar, and you light that with a little blowtorch if you have one, and put it on the rim. So it just adds a nice little touch, nice garnish. But yeah, the idea is, it's heavy cream, a whole egg. So yeah, that's a slow sipper.
Well, being here in the South, one of the things that we are blessed with is that we have fig trees down here, and they grow by the billions. So you have some figgy pudding here.
Oh yeah, that was a great one for Christmas too. Yeah, we had that on the menu at the restaurant where I worked for a little while. It was a lot of fun.
I would think that the brandy would kind of give it kind of like a bitter taste to it. How do you make your way around that? Is that going to be in the simple syrups?
Yeah, so the fig simple will kind of balance that out. And I'm not a fan of super sweet cocktails, so each dessert is, it's sweet, but not overly sweet. I wanted to make sure it wasn't, too sweet, because it would be easy to do.
Yeah, because the garnish is made out of cranberries, dried cranberries. So it's like, wow, when do you jump into the cranberries? At the beginning of it to kind of just prepare your palate, or do you do it at the end?
Probably towards the end, yeah. And the mint, so the mint kind of acts as, when you bring it to your mouth on the nose, it's just a nice kind of refreshing smell when you get to it. So.
Wow. This is such a fantastic book. Are we going to see this on Netflix or Hulu, a TV special somehow? Maybe team you up with Gordon Ramsay or something?
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, because he's never really put focus on dessert drinks like this. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this book is that I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I think there are some dessert drinks like chocolate martini or espresso martini that are kind of staples. But my goal was to, reach out and branch out and try some new things. So I think we got that. Yeah,
because we've become pretty much the lazy generation that goes to the liquor store and buys the stuff already mixed in a bottle. And this right here says, no. You learned how to use the air fryer. Learn how to do this as well.
Right. And I wanted to make sure all the ingredients were easily accessible and you can find pretty much everything at your local liquor store or supermarket so.
Wow. Well, speaking of looking, where can people find out more about you and give you some love and support, sir?
So I am on Instagram. It's at Bryan Paiement. And then the book is for sale on Amazon right now.
It's a perfect place. You got to come back. First of all, before we close out, what else do you have in the works? Were you going to guide us in like food in the future? What are you going to be doing?
So I'm actually working on just finishing up a project. It's called Cradle and Cocktail. So my wife and I have a 1.5-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I'm doing cocktails inspired by the first few years of parenting. So there's plenty of inspiration. So that's going to be the next one coming out.
Well, you got to come back to this show when that one gets finished so we can talk about it.
Oh, I would love to.
All right, man. Will you be brilliant today, okay?
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.